Alright, so this is going to be a quick overview on how to set up Tripwire and then how to use it to scout and scan new wormholes. So first thing you want to do is create an account as a user of Tripwire, create an API key through this link here, and then fill out your information. Once you're actually logged in, you're going to see a screen like this, and it's just going to be blank. First thing you want to do to get it set up is click the plus sign for new tab, and you're going to call the new tab home, and then put in the JSIG for home, which is J155620. You can leave both of these options unchecked and then hit OK. It's going to create a new tab. It's going to say home. You may not see the entire chain at first though, so in order to see everything, you're going to click on the settings button in the corner up here, go to account settings, click on the alliance mask so you can see everything that the alliance has jumped through. Hit save. Now you should see something that looks a little bit like this. Next, what you want to do is make sure that the arrows here and the A right here are both golden. Just click on them to turn it on and off. You want to make sure both of those are gold. Basically what that does is as you jump wormhole to wormhole, these two things allow Tripwire to track your in-game location and map out the chain. Once you've done that, the last thing to do is set up your trade hubs. So if you click on the search box here and then type in a trade hub like Amar, and you can pull up the system for Amar, and you want to favorite the system by clicking on the star here so that it's golden. And what that does is once you have it added to your favorites, you can click on this star down here and it will show you how many jumps away your favorite systems are for every high sec in the chain. So Amar is 13 jumps from our high sec right now. Alright, so now that we have Tripwire set up, we can go ahead and start scouting out a new wormhole here. So we have a new static. So basically what I'm going to do first is click on home, or you click on the system that you're actually in right here. That way you're adding the new signatures and new information to the wormhole you're currently in and not some other random one. So once you're clicked into your current wormhole, come over to your probe scanner, hit Control A, Control C. This is going to copy all the signatures in the list. Come back into Tripwire, you can click anywhere in the window and then hit Control V, and it's going to add the new SIGs into here. So FNQ is the new static here. So we're going to go ahead and scan that out. I've already dropped my probes, and I'm going to click on FNQ. And take my probes out here to 8AU and do a quick scan. You can just kind of watch how I'm scanning. I'm using the pinpoint formation under the probe scanner. Alright, so there we see FNQ is kind of narrowed down right here, and we're just going to zoom in a little bit and drop probes scan range down to 1AU. Usually for wormholes, you can, if you have decent scanning skills, you can get away with doing a 8AU pass and then doing a 1AU pass. So now we've got the wormhole, go ahead and warp to it. Alright, so once you've scanned out a new signature, you want to go ahead and add that into Tripwire. So right now you can see it's just question marks here for FNQ. If you come back over to the probe scanner and do another Control A, Control C, and then come back to Tripwire, Control V, it's going to add FNQ as a wormhole. But there's still question marks here, so we need to tell it what kind of wormhole it is. If you look at it right here, it is an 0477. So to edit that, you click on the little caret here, and we're going to type in 0477 here and hit save. And now it knows that that is a C3, and we can go ahead and enter the wormhole. Reload my probes here as well. You need to bookmark it as well. Every corporation has their own bookmarking scheme. That's ours. SIG ID in parentheses, and then the name of the wormhole, so this is static. When you jump into a new wormhole, the first thing you want to do is save the return location. So save the wormhole there, save it as an R, and then you want to get off the wormhole. So you're going to right click on it, orbit at 30, and then as soon as you hit orbit, you're going to want to hit your micro warp drive and your cloak. That's going to push you off the wormhole, and hopefully no one will see you. Let's go ahead and take a quick D-scan here. So there's no ships on scan right now, and it looks like there are 2 towers on scan. So we can go and check those out in a minute. Let's go ahead and add all of the signatures in here to Tripwire. There we go, there's all our new SIGs. And I'm just going to show you a quick scouting of a POS. I already know there's a POS somewhere towards the center of the system because I was in here a minute ago. So I'll just show you that now. Alright, so we can see there is a POS on scan here with a force field and an Orca. So we know that the POS is online. So what we're going to do is try and find it here. Basically just sort all the planets by name, and then go through each planet, click on it with your tracking camera on, and then it will spin the camera around. The tracking camera's down here, by the way. And just click on it, spin over to it, and scan it at 5 degrees. So looks like this POS is at planet 2. What we'll do is go ahead and just warp to the first moon at 100 and see if we get lucky.
Warp drive active.
And basically what you're going to do is once you land, you're just going to repeat that process of going through now all the moons at planet 2 and descanning each one at 5 degrees until you find the POS. Alright, so now that we've found the moon the POS is at, we can see that there's an unpiloted Orca in the POS. There's a couple cans here that I landed next to, something you have to watch out for, especially when you're cloaky. Make sure you don't land on anything and decloak. But let's go ahead and do some quick intel on this POS. We're going to right click the tower, show info, see what it belongs to. Alright. Now that we know the corp, we're going to go ahead and look these guys up on zkill. zkillboard.com, and we're just going to search their corporation here. There they are. And 72% ISK efficiency, not too bad. Looks like they do a lot of nullsec and wormhole PvP. So we're going to go ahead and highlight the corporation name right here and do a Control-C. That's going to copy the actual link of it, and we can go ahead and put these guys in here. So we're going to type up something like the planet and the moon that we're at, which is, let's see, planet 2, moon 12. So we're going to P2M12, and then we're going to put in some information about their tower. It is a MAR control tower, so it's just a standard large tower. Say a MAR tower. And it does have a pretty reasonable defense here. If you look at it, it's got quite a few lasers, it's got some ECM, and let's see, that's pretty much it. There's a couple webs. There's not actually a ton of webs and scrams, but lots of guns. So go ahead and put that in here. And then we're going to say there's an Orca as trash. And then we're going to do a Control-V. That's going to paste in that link from zkill. And then we can go ahead and hit save. Now, depending on, if you think they're active or whatever, you can do some additional intel, like for instance this Orca here. If it's been piloted recently, you can right click on it, go to pilot, show info, and now I know this was the last pilot of the Orca. I can say add this person to my watch list. Maybe they're online doing something, moving around, or if they come on later in the day or something, then it may be good hunting. Alright, so once you have the entire system scanned out, got all your SIGs, make sure you do that last Control A, Control C, and paste it all into Tripwire. And you want to make sure you go through and update all of the wormholes for the type. And you also want to make sure that you update your return ID. So right now I'm sitting on my return, and I know the return is IKR, so I want to edit the one that I actually jumped through, K162. I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to type in the ID here, IKR, hit enter, and overwrite the one that's already there, and it's going to combine the two. And that's pretty much it. Once you have done all that, you've added these types, go ahead and start jumping through each wormhole, and the auto mapper should follow you and tell you what it should populate the JSIG and everything into Tripwire from there. One final thing to note on updating wormholes: when you're going through each one and updating their type in Tripwire, you want to make sure as well to right click on the wormhole, go to show info, and make sure that the mast and the life are stable. So for instance, on this one here that I'm next to, notice it is end of life, but the mast is good. So I want to make sure that I mark that in Tripwire as end of life. So this is XLG. What I'm going to do is go find XLG in here, and I'm going to mark it as K162 like I was doing, and then I'm going to put it life critical because it's end of life. And you want to make sure that you always, anytime you see a wormhole wavering like that, you always want to show info and check it out and make sure that the timer is updated in Tripwire, because now that I've set that EOL, it's put in the timer for that. We're also going to update the name on that C4. Because there are two C4s in this system, we want to go ahead and make sure we know which ones are which. So the first person to scan out the wormholes is generally the person that names them. So you can right click and rename one and leave the JSIG in there, but just call it C4-2. And that way, whenever we say, like, okay, I'm going into C4 or C4-2, we know which ones are which.